Albie Balgosian is a builder out of Waltham, Massachusetts.
Huh.
And he built an instrument for me that is basically what we were trying to do was build a solid body instrument, but it's acoustic. It has a transducer under the bridge, no magnetic pickups.
Wow.
It has the fretboard or the fingerboard that comes out over the instrument in the way that an acoustic bass does, because we thought that sound would help. It would help the instrument sound more acoustic or a little bit more like an acoustic bass. So it is an electric instrument, but it basically is acoustically amplified.
Wow.
With this pickup that's under that piece of wood.
Beautiful.
And so after we'd done this instrument, we talked about doing a production instrument, and at the time, the prices for pre-CBS jazz instrument, pre-CBS Fender basses was going through the roof. And so we thought, well, it would be great if we could create like a production model of an instrument that would not be so expensive, but also had the qualities of the instruments that we love so much, the pre-CBS Fender instruments. And so I guess that's where it kind of started, because he'd send me something and we look at it and go, well, no, that really doesn't look quite right. And also playing wise, it needs to, have these changes and these changes. So that's, I guess, what put me on the road to that. So we built a production instrument. For a little while, we had ads in the Bass Player magazine, and we were trying to sell it, and that got to be a little bit top heavy. So we decided to license the instrument, and the company we decided to go with was Lakeland.
Okay.
And so we've licensed this instrument to Lakeland for the last, I don't know how many, more than 15, 20 years.
Wow. Incredible.
Maybe. Yeah. So that is, I guess, where the initial interest came. I was out at the Fender Custom Shop. They were recreating some instruments based on my 66 jazz bass that I played with Miles and with Sting when I first kind of came on the scene. And I met a guy who mentioned to me that Musicians Institute had a guitar building course. And so I just kind of something that kind of stuck in my mind. And I thought, that's an interesting idea, And a while later, I started teaching some different bass courses. I did a couple of clinics. I did some private teaching. I did some open counseling there for a number of students. And I mentioned to one of the guys who was working there, I said, I heard that you guys do a guitar building course. And he says, and we do. And you, as an adjunct professor, you can take that course.
Nice.
And I thought, well, that's a great idea. So I took the course and got to know John Carruthers, who at the time was the head of that department. And so the instrument that I actually ended up not finishing the course, had to leave and go on tour. When I came back, there was just about a week left in class. During that week, I finished my bass, the bass that I was building for the class. And I let a few friends play it, and they said, there's some problems here, but this is actually not bad for a first effort. So I decided that I wanted to build a few more, have a few more built. I took it out to John Carruthers' shop out in Camarillo, and he said, he says, I could build, we could fix these few problems, a few issues that you have, and I could build some more for you, or you could come out. Since you weren't able to finish the class, you could come out and help me do it. And that way you could learn a bit more and you could decide if this is something that you really want to be involved in. And so that's really basically where it started. So
great.
We've made so far about half a dozen, we've made 8 guitars, 8, 6-string guitars, Tellies and Telly styles, Strat styles. And we've made, we're coming up on about half a dozen basses now. 2 pickup instruments as well as 1 pickup instruments. I will say that I grew up playing Fenders. And so that is the style instrument that I am most comfortable on and that I really love. And so that what I'm building is being informed by that style.
And will that possibly be the new Darryl Jones signature bass?
Well, my relationship with Lakeland is great. I love that, what they're doing with the instrument. I love that, people really love it. It's at a cost. The Skyline series is at a cost where students can pay for it. Unfortunately, if I'm going to build American Instruments under, this new project, I won't be able to offer them at that kind of price. So I'm suggesting that people continue to go to Lakeland for that. And if you want something a little bit different, a little bit more personal, something that you have a little bit more input into the building of, then I'm asking you to come in and check out my things. We're just getting started. It's not really a company yet, but it's something that I would love to build.